Passion fruit. Okay, hands up, who doesn't like passion fruit? Anyone? Well, if you did put your hand up, I've got some sour news for you. You're lying to yourself. These things are unequivocally delicious. No doubt you've all seen them popping up in fruity cocktails and sour beers and cordials and sodas. Anything you put these in becomes pretty amazing. Originally hailing from the tropical climates of South America, these things are quickly becoming the most popular exotic fruit around. The purple passion fruit that we find in supermarkets is actually a cousin of the much larger and much sweeter yellow grenadilla. And if you can find them, I highly suggest going to get them. They're amazing. Purple passion fruits are usually associated with sickly sweet cocktails and creamy desserts. However, they're incredibly sour. Although over time, as they shrivel up, their flavor condenses, they become sweeter and more aromatic. Much like bananas. Thanks to just one extremely popular cocktail, the passion fruit is as much today a bar staple as lemons and limes. The drink, of course, is the Pornstar Martini. Invented in 2002 by Douglas Ankara, by 2018 it was the nation's favorite cocktail. So incredibly popular is this drink that it has inspired a slew of new products, from vanilla and passion fruit syrup to flavored gins, vodkas, seltzers. Even Marks and Spencer's put it in a can, although they did change its name. With a winning combination of naughty tropical deliciousness, embarrassing name, and Instagrammable looks, the drink is so synonymous with a passion fruit, it's probably the first thing you think of making with them. I'd be a madman not to take a crack at the world's best Pornstar Martini recipe, so I will. Although I do think that passion fruits have a lot more to give than just one drink. Just like every week, I break my drinks down into 3 sections. Super simple, where no special tools are needed, mega tasty, where a simple infusion or syrup is called for, and ultra fancy, where maximum effort is needed. But before I can make any drinks, gotta do some prep. So the first thing I'm making this week is a simple syrup that combines the best parts of these 2 ingredients that are almost exclusively used together in cocktails: passion fruit and vanilla. I'm using a relatively low yield vanilla from Uganda that has a super high vanillin content, so it's mega pokey. Hey, here's a fun thing. Alexa, how is imitation vanilla made? You're welcome, by the way. Start by slicing open a vanilla pod and scraping out as much of the insides as possible into a glass jar. Then cover that with 50 ml of good quality vodka. Stir these together vigorously with the back of a bar spoon and set it aside to infuse at room temperature for 48 hours. Don't chuck out that vanilla husk though, keep it in the same jar as your sugar and it'll steadily permeate the sugar crystals. Once the vodka has become sufficiently vanilla-y, pass the liquid through a few layers of coffee paper. This might take a little while, so be patient. Combine the filtered vanilla vodka with 75 grams of passion fruit puree, 150 grams of water, and 350 grams of caster sugar. Stir everything together until the sugar has dissolved fully, and then bottle, label, keep in the fridge for later. Drink? So this pretty little thing is easy to put together, but mad tasty. There's a special place in my heart for naughty, fruity, fluffy drinks, and passion fruit sits right next to raspberry in terms of naughtiness. To make this cocktail, add to a jar or shaker the scooped out flesh of a whole passion fruit. If you have them, use those older wrinkly ones as they're super flavorful. Add 25 ml of fresh lime juice, 15 ml of Gomme, which is a 2-to-1 heavyweight sugar syrup. Then add in 50 ml of Porter's Tropical Old Tom Gin, which is flavoured with passion fruit as well as complementary guava and white tea. Then crack in the white of 1 egg. If you like to go vegan, you can use the liquid drained from a can of chickpeas or another vegan cocktail foamer. Shake everything without ice first to combine, then plonk in a load of ice and shake super hard. The longer and harder you shake, the finer the texture of the resulting foam. Pour a splash of chilled soda water into an iced highball glass, and then strain out the rest of the cocktail on top of the soda. Top up with a little splash of soda again if necessary. Garnish with some edible flowers, and then fill your boots with this light tropical number and savour the naughty fluffiness. The Passionflower Fizz. Cheers. Okay, so back in the prep kitchen, I'm about to embark on another week-long ferment. If you aren't familiar with Sima, it's a type of lightly sparkling Finnish spring mead that's usually drunk before it becomes too alcoholic. Think of it like a more complex lemonade. To make this, start by adding to a heat-proof Pyrex jug 500 grams of freshly boiled water. To that, add 25 grams of caster sugar and 75 grams of good quality raw honey, like this summer honey from the great folks at Bermondsey Street Bees. Stir everything together and then add in 1 unwaxed lemon that has been finely sliced but not diced. Scoop out and add in the flesh of 2 fresh passion fruits, and then stir the whole lot together to set aside to cool down for an hour or so. Once the liquid has cooled down to below 30 Celsius, add in half a gram of brewer's yeast. I'm using this freaky turbo yeast that acts super fast because I have little patience for these things. In hindsight, a good champagne yeast would have probably worked better, but I'll come to that later. Stir everything and cover loosely with a coffee filter. Then set aside to ferment for 12 hours or overnight.
The next day.
It's had a hot minute to ferment, so this thing now needs to be filtered through a fine mesh sieve. That's just to get as much pulp out as possible. Decant then into a flip-top bottle with plenty of headroom and pop in a few raisins. Raisins act as a source of nutrients for the yeast, but also act as a gauge to tell us how fizzy the final product is without opening it. Like a lava lamp, I guess. Label and leave to ferment at room temperature, burping twice daily until extremely fizzy. This can take anywhere from 1 to 5 days, but check the raisins. When they are plump and floating on the surface with plenty of bubbles around them, it's ready to be transferred to the fridge. Keep in the fridge for another day or two to chill out until it's needed later. Is it Pornstar time yet? It's Pornstar time. If you, for some reason, have never had one of these, you need to fix that immediately. This recipe is the naughtiest, most luxurious, and genuinely delicious recipes I have ever made. Start by adding to a jar or shaker 20 ml of pineapple juice, fresh is best. 25 ml of Passionilla Syrup from earlier. 25 ml of freshly pressed lime juice. The flesh of half a passion fruit, and make sure to keep the other half for a garnish. 15 ml of Passoa or a pink passion fruit liqueur. And 40 ml of Raisins Icelandic vodka. I kept this in the freezer, not knowing that my freezer is some kind of mega freaky freezer with a life of its own that's turned it into a vodka slushy. Add plenty of ice and then shake super hard until it's too cold to hold onto. Fine strain into a large, chilled coupe or cocktail glass, then carefully drop in the remaining half of the passion fruit. Then open up a bottle of fizz. Today I've gone for an Australian Pinot Noir, Chardonnay and Shiraz Rosé. Fill a customary sidecar or shot glass with the fizzy stuff and then indulge in one of the most delightful drinking experiences ever conceived. A big juicy whack of tropical deliciousness gives way to a spike of zesty acidity as vanilla slowly builds throughout. Coupled with the pink fizz, this thing is unrivaled in its ability to get everybody smiling. The inimitable Pornstar Martini. Cheers. So this last drink wouldn't look too out of place in the dog days of summer as a tidy barbecue beverage. It's something akin to a Long Island iced tea. It'll slake the thirst of even the most parched among us. To make this, start by adding a few coffee beans to a shot glass and covering them with 25 ml of the delicious Tapatio Blanco tequila. Set that aside for later. Then add to a jar or shaker 10 ml of the bright and grassy Trois Rivières Agricole rum, 10 ml of Cointreau orange liqueur, 15 ml of the delightful Coqui Rosa Aperitivo, 15 ml of Passionilla syrup from earlier, 15 ml of freshly pressed lemon juice, then dump in the tequila that's been sitting in the coffee beans. In hindsight, I should have taken the coffee beans out, but I couldn't stop myself. Add plenty of ice and shake until frosty. Strain out into an iced highball glass and then grab the Passionfruit Sima from the fridge. This is the moment of truth then. Yeah, now you see why I should have gone with a less fast-acting yeast. Once all this mess has been cleared up, top the cocktail with that deliciously sour and funky Sima. Then garnish with a lemon wheel and some edible flowers. Slowly sip on this surprisingly juicy mind eraser that opens up and keeps going. It's bold enough thanks to the grassy tequila agricole split base, and it's plenty complex as those heady passion fruit notes carry with them delicate rose and orange blossom. This is killer. Spring high tea. Cheers. This is cool. Well then, there you have it, 3 killer passion fruit cocktails. I had really good fun making this one. Maybe I'll have another crack at making the Passionfruit Sima with champagne yeast, as I think it will be a really awesome non-alcoholic treat with a little tinkering. If you did like what you saw, give us a thumbs up, comment down below with the one thing you want to see me tackle in the future, and click my face that will pop up here in a sec to subscribe, and you'll be notified when new videos drop every week. But until next time, take it easy, be good, love you, bye!